This is a 2019 ŠKODA KODIAQ RS, or vRS if you live in the UK. So it's ŠKODA's largest and most expensive vehicle. This one starts at well over 49,000 euros, and in UK it's probably around 42,000 pounds. So it has a diesel engine, and well, it's a mid-size SUV from ŠKODA that costs well over 50,000 euros. This one is 62,000 euros actually. So I want to take you on a tour of this car, review it for you, and do a walk around so you can see exactly what you get when you spend that kind of money on a ŠKODA, which is unusual. So let's start with styling, and especially up at the front, because that's the strong point of the ŠKODA KODIAQ. It's a very, very sharp and distinctive looking front end, but it's not distinctive to the RS. The KODIAQ itself, that white one over there, it also looks fine. The KODIAQ itself is a good looking car. The RS, I think, does not do enough to distinguish itself, because you see this little kind of a thing, this little bottom grille, and these two things mounted over there. Well, you get them on lesser models called the Sport Line and Lauren and Clement. So it's not unique to the vRS. The only thing that's unique to the vRS is the badge and this kind of a weird strip that goes across the bottom part of the grille. But I think the car does not do enough to distinguish itself from the rest of the lineup, which is kind of a shame. But then again, that's how ŠKODA does all their cars. The rear end gets some special treatment. For instance, the normal KODIAQ, this white one, has the reflector strips and then some kind of a black honeycomb pattern strip, whereas the RS gets a bright red strip that goes the entire length, although it's not kind of properly aligned, so kind of disappointing. Anyway, so yeah, what I think really complements this car's styling is the blue color. It's called a race blue metallic. So it's not free in all markets. It is in the UK, but not in Germany. So check with your local dealer about it. These wheels are pretty cool, 20 inches, but no air suspension, so the ride can be a bit firm. Yeah, keep that in mind. Let's get into the cabin, because that's where you'll be spending most of your time. So first of all, getting in is easy. It's a huge SUV, and it also feels spacious, just like any other KODIAQ. Really wide, lots of legroom, and also lots of headroom. Of course, I can't show you, I'm holding the camera. Then, what's different? Well, of course, the materials are all high quality, like on the normal KODIAQs, nice and soft touch, no cheap, scratchy ones. But the rest of the materials, for instance, you have red stitching for the sporty effect, Alcantara instead of leather. That's what you have in sporty cars. Then more carbon fiber on the second glove box, more carbon fiber on the door panels, and more red stitching. vRS badging here, vRS badging on the 7-speed DSG. So it's essentially your KODIAQ, well-built KODIAQ with luxury materials, but a bit more sports here. What's also different from normal KODIAQs is that you get this 10-point-something inch virtual cockpit, also known as the digital driver's display, as standard. So it displays all the information in different ways, a huge map, analog dials, or some kind of a sporty version of dials. You can change it the way you want it. That's standard. Then you get this infotainment system, 9.2 inches, ŠKODA's largest. I'm thinking that it's also the standard feature. I'm not sure. You might get the 8-inch system as standard, and then you have to option this one, the 9.2 one. I'm not sure, but I hope it is standard. But yep, that's about it. And yeah, you also get this Canton sound system, which sounds pretty great, I hope. Now let's move to the back of the car, the rear seats, which I think will be less different. Now these seats have been pushed forward for some reason, so we'll go the other way, because I don't want to give you wrong information. Yep, so here we are, the rear seats. So yeah, space is okay, even for me. Well, yeah, for me, because I'm a small person. I don't know how a large person will fare in here, but it feels quite okay. Now, of course, this is the rear part of the car, so nothing is all that different from the normal car, except that you see the red stitching and the red plastic and red metal on the front seats. There's more red stitching here, but it doesn't feel as sporty as the front, because, it's a passenger region, not the driver focus place. And also the plastic is harder here, like on the normal KODIAQs, but you still get carbon fiber, so yeah. And then seat pockets, nice and soft, so that you don't scratch the things put in there. Climate control, also heated seats. I'm not sure if that's standard. Check with the dealership, but yeah, nice to have. And then of course the armrest, cup holders, nothing fancy going on there, just there. And then of course the KODIAQ, you might not be aware of it, but has 7 seats as standard. So let's check those out. Come on, where's it? Yeah, electric tailgate. So this is the glorious 720-liter boot. Now, if you put these seats up, I don't get them up somehow, I can't, but anyway, so if you put them up, the seating, the space will only be this thing, you know, this size. So it'll be around 270 liters, but if you put those seats down, it's 720. Now, you can't get the Kodiaq RS as a 5-seater, because if you could, it'd be nice, because then you'll have 760 liters of boot space. So the 5-seater Kodiaq has 760. The 7-seater with seats folded down has 720. And if you have all the seats in place, then this thing would be around 270 liters. Some extra space down there. And of course, the nice ŠKODA functions. That LED torch. Some hooks to hang stuff on. There you go. Charging point. And you can also release the seats with these levers. Yeah, so now let's close it. Also, something that's standard on the Kodiaq, not the RS itself, are these little things that come out when you open the door, so that you don't bang into the car beside you and dent your beautiful race blue metallic paint, especially if you paid for it. Then yeah. Now this car has a lot of tech as standard, even in the base model, the 49,000 euro model. This special one has, this particular one has 62,000 pounds worth of car in it, so 49,000 car, and then a little more in options. Here you can check out all the options. So the car, incidentally, has a diesel. It's a ŠKODA Kodiaq 2-liter bi-turbo TDI diesel with 7-speed DSG as standard, and also it's an all-wheel drive as standard, so no front-wheel drive. Now that's interesting, because people were like, you know, a sporty car like this should have a petrol engine like the Seat Cupra Ateca with 300 horsepower, but that's a petrol-powered car, and the problem is this is a 7-seater car, so it needs loads of pulling power, and petrol doesn't deliver that. So the Cupra Ateca is a 5-seater car, it gets away with that, but this is a huge 7-seater SUV, and it needs that pulling power. So I think that's why they went with the diesel engine, which is unusual for a performance car. I'm not a huge fan of it, but that's how things are around here. Now, some of the little features that you get are, of course, the umbrella, which is completely standard, no special RS. Of course, you get, you know, seats with memory functions and electric adjustments and all that. And yep, that's your ŠKODA Kodiaq RS. Come on, get up. Yep, some space under there. I forgot to mention that. Yeah. So this is the ŠKODA Kodiaq vRS, or RS if you don't live in the UK. So as I said, it's an expensive car, 49,000 euros, and still you can option it to get to this whopping 62,000. And that may not be the maximum, you know, but it's a car that does everything. It's just that it has a diesel, and I personally think that it's a bit overpriced. So yeah, my whole verdict would be it's a well-rounded car, but probably the diesel engine is not worth the vRS badge over there, and probably yeah, probably a little bit cheaper wouldn't hurt the car. So yeah, a little cheaper would be better. Probably a petrol engine, and the diesel should be there, but just not in the RS iteration. Of course, ŠKODA is not going to change the car for me, but that is my wish. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll try to be back with another video as soon as possible. Probably another car, probably another different kind of content. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.